by the way, Rocky, just I'm not sure if I said that at the start. So now we're going to have a representative from the Cranbourne Postmasters Club. Ryan is the Vice President of Public Relations at the Cranbourne Club, and it's so good to have him here tonight. He's going to give his speech on why community service matters. Thank you, Ryan.
Like Walter, I'll go through a bit of my childhood days and how I fell into the community life. Do you remember those fun childhood school days where every day brought a new learning to life? I don't. I was brought up in a strict traditional Indian family. And being the oldest, and let's put it this way, the better looking, I was the one that all the mistakes had to be made on. I was sent off to a boarding school. I was age 6. And I grew up in a boarding school from grade 1 right up to grade 12. And I used to see my parents once a year for 3 weeks. I remember coming home every minute, every hour, every day I spent with my parents. That's all I ever wanted as a kid. Until I had to leave and I had to go back for another year. I remember sitting up in my bedroom looking out the window and I would see kids playing with their parents. And how I wished I had a dad that would throw me a ball, play with me, be a role model to me. And a mom that would have open arms to guide me, nurture me, and just be with me in my childhood years. But you see, that was not my fate. Instead came the strict discipline from the school and the vicious bullying from the older kids, which took an absolute toll on me as a kid. I remember the discipline came when I was 10 years of age. For something very innocent I'd done, I was dragged out of class by Father Raphael, tied to a tree and beaten with a stick not once, not twice, not thrice, but for almost 20 minutes until I passed out. How I wished I had a dad that would come and rescue me every single time that happened. And then came the vicious bullying from the older kids, which took an absolute toll on me as a kid. I was pretty much scared to try anything in life at that point in time, because I was afraid if I had failed, I would once again be tied to a tree. I graduated in 1991 in a ceremony they called commencement, which I thought was the end to my childhood years, but not knowing it was bringing a whole new experience to life as such out there. 6 years later, I migrated from a third world country to a first world country. My land of dreams and opportunity. I said if I could own my own business, I would be king. I wouldn't have to answer to anyone. The only person I would be answerable was to myself. So I went about borrowing $80,000+ and started my own mobile franchise in 1997. And there I was king of mobile technology. Until that day, a year later, friends, I lost everything. I don't want to brag as such, but I took that $80,000 debt and I doubled it to about $160,000. I was not king of mobile technology anymore. I was now king of debt. And the only interest I had in life pretty much at that point in time was pretty much paying the interest. It's something to smile at now, but I remember going back that day, looking at my wife, my 3-year-old and my 1-year-old daughter, and thinking to herself, Ryan, what a failure you are in life. I was not worthy to be a part of that family. I would have rather at that point in time be tied to a tree and disciplined, which would be scarred on me maybe for a couple of weeks or so, than to now have decades of death on my head. And I now thought the world was my bully. Until that day, I walked down to the edge of a bridge, and I'm standing at the edge of the bridge, and I'm looking down at the water, and I'm saying to myself, what is this thing called life? And I get the sensation, the water is still, and the bridge is moving. I look down, and I see the water flowing under that bridge. into the distance. I looked up, I see all the garbage and the trash flowing on the water under that bridge into the distance. And there was life's unanswered question to me. Everything that flowed on the water under that bridge into the distance was of no consequence. It's gone. It's finished. What was of consequence was up ahead of me in the future, yet to flow under that bridge. What happened to me when I was beaten as a kid, what I did with it, and I moved forward. What happened to me when I was bullied as a kid, what I did with it, and I moved forward. And what happened to me when I lost everything in business, what I did with it, and I moved forward. That was the key. How many of us make the past our reality in life that stops us from achieving greatness out there? I did that for many years, until I realized the past is not real. But to me, the future is not real either. But you know what is real? Is now, this very instance, and what we all do with it. Today, I like to call myself leadership coach. 3 years ago, I changed a lot of things around me. I am now living my dream, and I'm building on my dream every single day. I walk into schools today. I empower youth to be their best and only their best and work on their goals and get out there and make things happen for themselves. I walk into organizations. I help with leadership skills, help people be their best, build on their self-esteem and confidence, and make not only their personal life work, but also the organization's work. I walk in, I help youth, I help individuals in building themselves, and I get inspired by them as well. When I inspire them, they inspire me as well. I wake up 3, 4 in the morning and I'm working at my art, working at my craft, and how to be a better person and what I can do for the community today, so I can be inspired as well by that. That inspires me today. Me, now, today, speaking is in my DNA. It's in my oxygen. I love what I do. I now walk in, I see my 12-year-old, my 10-year-old, and my 4-year-old, and I'm now trying to be the father I never had. And those dark days in school, and everything else in the past had flowed, all the water, like the garbage in the trash, under that bridge. So I say to you today, let go of the garbage and the trash of the past, because it's long gone. Look what's ahead of you. And pretty much, it's like water under the bridge. Toastmasters.